during a show, we'll run trains up and down the branch line. One of those stops on that main line is Hilbert Junction, and at that point there's the junction switch to come down the branch line into Menasha and into Neenah, and we'll run trains up and down that branch line too to add interest. So I don't know what else I can answer for you as far as.
I got one question. Could you keep your trains here, like overnight or a few weeks, or?
We do, yes. Some of our members leave. Actually, most of the equipment on the railroad is privately owned. Very few pieces are owned by the club. There are a few, and most of those were either donated to the club or they were left by members that have moved on geographically or spiritually. We have several. Well, actually, all of our founding members have passed on. I'm the senior member. I joined 4 years into the existence of the club. I joined in 1968, and of course I knew all the founding members, and I'm grateful for their printing. Some of our members are dabbling in with that and making parts and detail pieces and things like that by designing it on a computer and having a 3D printer print it out for them, and they can make changes to it. They can, if something looks great, they can tell the computer to make a whole bunch more. Like little details, like fire hydrants. Every town has fire hydrants. Well, we don't have any in our layout right now, but one of our members is working on perfecting a design for a little scale fire hydrant that will be about a ½ inch tall, and we can print out a bunch of them and plant them around the layout in strategic locations, and that'll add to the details, even to to people, miniature figures of persons doing different things. We have some that are imported or cast in plastic, but with the 3D printing available to us now, we can make lots more.
Hi, this is Wally, and I'm here to do a review of the Menasha Club. So, what are the rules here, Wally?
Well, to list off the rules is kind of difficult. I don't have them memorized at all, but we do accept members. If a person wants to become a member, you put in an application. There's a 6-month trial period where we need you to come down at least 6 times during that 6 months. We're open usually Wednesdays and Thursday evenings from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Except in the dead of winter when it's real cold. If it's below about 10 degrees Fahrenheit, we don't open up because the building is old and it doesn't heat all that well. Person is sponsored for membership by one of the other club members, and the other club members take a vote. And during that 6-month period, the reason for that is that so the prospective member can decide if the club is good for that person, and also the rest of the members can decide if that person is good for the club. So at the end of that 6 months, the vote is taken, and usually the person is accepted as a member. After that, dues are then payable. For the first 6 months, there are no dues. From the first, you make donations if you wish. But and we have a donation box right here. But after the 6 months, the dues for adult member is $80 per year or $20 per 3-month quarter. For students, well, I should say we minimum age is 14 years old. So, as students through college, membership dues is half of that adult membership, or $40 a year. We're up to $10 per quarter. And other than that, we are an O-scale club. We do have a little bit of other scales. We're open to anybody that's interested in trains, but we have no interest in somebody coming in and saying, well, let's tear this all out and put an HO. There's too much HO. There's plenty of HO clubs around, and if the HO is the person's bag, that's fine. There's another club right over in Darboy that specializes in the HO scale. This is and we feel it's kind of special to be an O-scale club, 2-rail, and we also have a 3-rail portion of the club upstairs. We're unique in this area, and we kind of value that. We've been in business since 1964, so we're going on 58 years. Yeah, well, we're at 58 years of existence, and some of the original parts of the railroad that were constructed are still in existence, and some have been changed over the years, and some of the newest parts of the railroad are only maybe 10 years old, and we have plans for further expansion. So when that expansion takes place, there'll be more of it that's current production. And even in the oldest parts of the layout, which we're standing near right now, we have things like the brewery back in the corner, Gem Beer, Walter Brothers Brewery. We have a new building going on right to your left there. That's actually two businesses, two industries in one. The side that's facing the camera is a paper company, and on the back side of it, it's Neenah Foundry. So it's sort of what do we call it, a oil company that represents our landlord. The person that owns this building is Levenhagen Oil Company, and they're right across the street from us, so we have them represented here. We have the Neenah Depot, the building that we're actually standing in. There's a 1/4 inch to the foot model of it right there. The little town of Neenah, that's what we model, is the branch line that was built by the Milwaukee and Northern Railroad in 1880s from Hilbert Junction, their main line from Milwaukee to Green Bay, over to Neenah right outside of our building. And so we modeled. The background is the menasha, and then further up into the other room are the towns of Sherwood and St. John and Hilbert Junction. And then up above us is what we model a very compressed version of the main line running from Green Bay. It goes around the building twice, runs over our head halfway through to Milwaukee, and comes over here and arrives in Milwaukee. And by modeler's license, Green Bay and Milwaukee are kind of touching each other, and so for show operation we can just run trains continuously on that mainline loop, where the train will depart Green Bay, go around the building twice, end up in Milwaukee, and magically reappear again in Green Bay and continue to go around. So, or we could run it the other direction. Their guidance and mentorship in making me a better model railroader, because I've studied at their elbow and learned from them. And unfortunately, none of us live forever, so they've gone to their eternal reward. And I continue on their footsteps, and there are younger members than I in the club, and hopefully they'll continue this for perpetuity. I'm sure I won't be here. My time is coming, as is all of us, but so I enjoy it while I'm here, and this is, to me, this is the greatest hobby in the world. It's got some of the nicest people that are doing this work, this kind of enjoyment, and I love it. One of the reasons I really love it, and it really pertains well to a club environment like this, is that there are so many different, how should I say it, disciplines or facets to the hobby, from actual just the trains themselves, but leading up to that, the work of construction, the woodwork and the scenery work, the electrical and the electronics that go into building a railroad like this, the working with plastics, working with metal, working with wood. I've become an amateur machinist because of this. I have a small machine shop at home with a lathe and a milling machine that can make parts. New facets of the hobby. There's the like I mentioned before, all the different work areas. There's also interests that can be developed, such as photography and history and lore of railroad and collecting railroad memorabilia, all of those that I've participated in to one extent or another over my career of spanning probably 60 years since I became interested in trades. So, yeah, what more can I say? Any more questions? We put a new roof on the building. That was a major expenditure for the club. We had to have a special assessment. I think it was about, I don't know, $150 or $200 per member that we had to all chip in, because our club budget, our yearly budget is about $1,000 a year. And it was $5,000 put on the roof at that time. And it's probably coming up again. If we need to do it again, it's going to be more than that. So, you know, one of our long-range goals here is to actually own this building. Before we do that, we need to become 501c3. So if you know anybody, get this on a more permanent foundation. It's lasted 140 years. I don't know if it'll last another 20. So we need to, what my goal is to lift up the building. Hi, Dennis. Hi. And actually between the building, the face of the building.
Hi. So you recorded the conversation?
Bits of it.
Okay, all right.
I got it going right now, so it captures it.
That's a good sign. It moves. A couple of works will be in business. No, actually, I didn't want to cut them out.
And
You want to hold it?
yeah.
Okay, it's recording right now.
Okay, close the door here. So for the sake of your filming, this train just left the town of St. John and is proceeding to the town of Sherwood. Led by two Sioux-Line diesels, a F7 and a T9, and it's our beer train. It's all beer refrigerated cars. Yeah, some people got it.